Well, he hasn't had background as a commander-in-chief. He's been in the military, and I have great respect for that, and I've stated that publicly. I have had experience as a commander-in-chief, overseeing the nearly 11,000 members of the Arkansas Army and Air National Guard, watching those troops go to battle, working with them when they came back, recognizing what we were asking them to do, and dealing with them both from a state side as well as from a combat perspective. I also think it's important that people look at what I propose in terms of a Veterans Bill of Rights. Nobody has put forth as extensive a proposal to stand by the veterans, not just when we send them, but just as importantly when they come back, that we not make those who serve us stand around and wait in line for the benefits that they were promised. We have a moral obligation to our veterans. They've done their duty for us. We ought to be doing our duty for them when they come back. That hadn't always happened, and it's a major priority, and I think in many ways probably the single highest thing of priority that ought to happen in the federal government. I've said often the first fruits of the federal treasury ought to go toward those who kept us free. Yes?
Senator Huckabee, Senator McCain is about 400 shy of the 1191 delegates he's going to need. You've got, I think, about 150 delegates tomorrow at stake in these three states, two states in D.C. How big of a moment is tomorrow for your campaign, given that these are winner-take-all primaries, in remaining competitive with John McCain, and to what extent is the conservative base of the Republican Party what you're relying on to keep you viable?
I think you just hit it on the head. The conservative base of the Republican Party is really very, very critical to us getting elected in November. And if the conservative base of the Republican Party doesn't feel like they're being represented or heard, I think we'll have a very difficult time in November. That's why we need to keep this election going. That's why I feel like that people in Virginia and Maryland and District of Columbia ought to make sure their votes get counted. And, you know, if we all drop out of the race and just create this coronation, then there is no election. There's no way to express their voices. And then that would also be true for the future states coming up. It's an important race for all of us. Every race, every primary, every contest is important. None are singularly more important than the rest of them. Cumulatively is when they become important, when somebody has enough to have the 1,191 delegates.
Governor?
Let me take this one first.
I wanted to get your reaction to a poll our station did with Survey USA, which basically shows that as of today, you're 11 points behind McCain versus Friday when we conducted that poll, you were 32 points behind.
I'd say at that rate we'll be ahead tomorrow.
What do you credit that to?
I think people in Virginia have had probably an uptick of 20 points in IQ, and they've just said, by golly, this is the guy. I think a lot of it has been that they've decided that they want a choice. They also have begun to pay attention. I think our victories in Kansas and in Louisiana have shown them that this race is not over and that their vote is going to matter tomorrow. You know, there's been so much talk. The national media has done everything possible to sort of say that it's an inevitable conclusion, that there's no point in going on. I mean, they've tried to basically just end the game. And, you know, the whistle hasn't blown for me yet. And I think what's happened, a lot of voters saw that Saturday. We won 2 out of the 3 contests. We think we may have, who knows who won the third one. We never got all the votes counted. And what happened in Washington is nothing short of outrageous. It's the kind of thing that one does not expect in America and most certainly does not expect in the Republican Party.